You can feel the rink tremble under your skates, smell the cold steel, and taste the tension, but the man everyone mocked as too soft just grins through a web of stitches. Börje Salming arrived in Toronto with 1 suitcase, 2 sticks, and 0 believers. 16 brutal seasons later, the NHL looked nothing like the league that tried to break him. Above the Arctic Circle, winter swallows the sun. In Kiruna, a mining town where coal dust blackens the snow, 5-year-old Börje loses his father to an underground explosion. Hockey becomes his refuge. Night after night, he and older brother Stig practice under buzzing flood lamps until pucks freeze solid and crack like glass. Swedish coaches preach possession. Why fling the puck away just to hit someone? So Salming learns to dodge, deke, and sprint out of danger. By 18, he's steering Brynäs IF to back-to-back national titles, while Canadian scouts shrug great hands, shame they'll snap in North American corners. But destiny was about to cram Kiruna's best export into the NHL's smallest, meanest closet. September 1973, Leafs assistant GM Jim Gregory sees Salming for barely 2 shifts in an exhibition and blurts, "Sign him right now." 48 hours later, Börje boards a transatlantic flight with 1 suit, 2 sticks, and a contract that can be torn up after camp. Toronto greets him with sticky late summer heat and headlines that cackle, "Soft Swede won't last a month." Inside Maple Leaf Gardens, the air smells of stale popcorn and sharpened steel. The rink looks child-sized compared with Sweden's Olympic sheets. Veterans chirp in slangy English he can't decode, slashes calves in scrimmages, even skate puck circles to avoid passing to the tourist. Each night he finds a payphone, drops a coin, and whispers to his mother that the noise never stops, that the bruises already shine purple under his jersey, but that quitting would prove everyone right. Then came Game 3, Philadelphia, orange sweaters and fists like bricks. The Philadelphia Flyers didn't just test newcomers, they tried to erase them. In Salming's 3rd NHL game, the Spectrum shook with Broad Street Bullies chants, while organ music drowned out rational thought. On his first shift, Dave the Hammer Schultz planted a lumberyard cross-check between Börje's shoulder blades, snarling, "Welcome to the jungle, snowflake." Before the anthem's last chord, Schultz yanked off the Swede's helmet and rabbit punched him until a front tooth skittered across the ice like a white beetle. Referees pretended to tie skates. Philly fans roared for blood. Börje staggered to the bench, waved away the trainer's stitched towel, and jumped the boards on his next rotation, eyes blazing, mouth leaking crimson. Mid-second period, he threaded a 100-foot stretch pass that sprung Paul Henderson for the tying goal. Minutes later, he blocked 2 slap shots on the same penalty kill, crawling to his feet while the penalty box door slammed behind a stunned teammate. Final stat line, +1, 6 blocks, 18 stitches, 0 complaints. The Flyers won the fist count, but Toronto stole the scoreboard, and suddenly Leafs fans wondered if number 21 was made of spring steel instead of Swedish bone. The gauntlet only tightened. A week later at Boston Garden, enforcer Terry O'Reilly hacked Salming's ankles shift after shift, shouting, "Let's see what Arctic courage looks like up close." Börje finally dropped the mitts. No technique, all fury, absorbing haymakers, yet landing enough jabs to make Bruins legend Johnny Buchik mutter, "Kid's got granite in his gut." He lost the judge's card but won the building. The Garden crowd erupted when he hauled himself upright, jersey torn, and skated to the box with a sarcastic salute. In the Leafs dressing room afterward, Captain Daryl Sittler flipped him the game puck without a word. The silent ceremony said everything. The outsider wasn't just surviving, he'd become indispensable. Enduring that baptism was impressive. What followed would obliterate every remaining stereotype. Rookie season numbers laugh at the soft label. 39 points, plus 23, 187 blocked shots, all 76 games played. Season 2, 47 points and top pair minutes. By year 3, he's logging over 30 minutes nightly, power play, penalty kill, last minute of every 1-goal game, while stitches crawl past 200. First team All-Star in 1976, Norris Trophy runner-up in 1978. Through it all, penalty minutes stay low. Toughness without dirtiness becomes his signature. Tiger Williams, Toronto's resident wrecking ball, anoints himself Salming's bodyguard. bodyguard. The unlikely friendship flips locker room attitudes. If Tiger protects the Swede, maybe the Swede isn't fragile after all. Fans noticed too, and their roar soon reached every NHL boardroom. Homemade Swedish flags flood Maple Leaf Gardens. Kids wait hours for autographs scrawled across a face that looks stitched by a mad tailor. Front offices can't ignore the marketing and the wins. In 1978, Quebec drafts a Swede in round 1. By 1980, every franchise has a European scout. Young Nicholas Lidstrom watches grainy TV from Västerås and memorizes Salming's glide. He proved we belonged. January 4th, 1988, Börje becomes the first European to skate 1,000 NHL games. He finishes his career with 1,148 games, 787 points, and enough scar tissue to map a subway system. Yet his favorite number is 0, the exact count of Europeans who still need permission to dream big. Retirement should have been quiet. Instead, the pioneer grabbed a megaphone. Retirement never dulled Salming's edges. It simply redirected them. He opened Camp Salming each summer on the shores of Lake Siljan, drilling Swedish teenagers on battle zone corner work before treating them to puck control masterclasses. Attendees included a lanky kid named Matt Sundin, a bulldozing prodigy called Peter Forsberg, and a soft-spoken defenseman, Nick Lidstrom, who copied every pivot the legend demonstrated. Between sessions, Börje phoned NHL rookies personally, rattling off dossiers on heavyweight enforcers. This one jabs late, that one headlocks. Word spread, if you were European and brave enough to cross the Atlantic, Salming had your back. He lobbied the league to stage exhibition tours in Stockholm, Helsinki, even Prague, arguing that seeing is believing for skeptical Euro fans and skittish sponsors. When the Leafs finally played preseason games at Globen Arena in '92, Börje stood at center ice, translating post-game interviews, effectively serving as ambassador, interpreter, and hype man in one Scarline package. By 1990, Europeans made up barely 11% of the NHL. After a decade of Salming's crusade and the first regular season series in Europe, those numbers climbed past 20%, then 30% by 2024. The league's trench warfare mindset thawed into the puck possession symphony Börje had performed solo 2 decades earlier, and suddenly Hart trophies, Norris trophies, and even captain's C's were draped over shoulders that once would have been dismissed as too soft. Yet fate, ever cruel, still had one last cross-check waiting. 3 months later, the Maple Leafs ice an all-Swedish starting 6. The arena erupts in a 10-minute ovation that turns even hard-case enforcers into emotional wrecks. Börje, barely able to raise his arms, lifts an entire city instead. On November 24th, he passes away, age 71, but the Courage Award bearing his name rises in his place, handed annually to the player who refuses to stay down. Today, the NHL's brightest stars, Victor Hedman, Leon Draisaitl, Cale Makar, play the puck control style Salming was mocked for. Wayne Gretzky put it best. Börje didn't just open the door, he ripped it off the hinges. So, did any single player, Gretzky, or even the great one himself, change hockey's DNA more than Börje Salming? Drop your take in the comments, because that debate might be almost as fierce as the hits he absorbed without flinching. Stick around for the highlight reel, rushes that carve up entire rosters, poke checks timed like pickpockets, and yes, the Boston fight that silenced the Garden, rolling right now.
Jamming the brakes on, back to Salming, score!
Börje was ahead of his time. He was so fluid. He would take that puck behind his net and go end to end with it.
Salming shoots, scores!
He paved the way for a lot of Europeans to come over here. Börje showing that we could play in the best league in the world.
He's been lugging it well in training camp, and in the first 2 games, there's the shot,
You have to have a lot of respect for that man. He took a tremendous amount of abuse, and he just kept coming.
You got a lot of cheap shot.
Salming is down and hurt.
It was rough.
Börje Salming.